Welcome back to the library. Today I'll be discussing my thoughts on Chapter 6 of Brave New World. That mania to start with for doing things in private, which meant, in practice, not doing anything at all. For what was there that one could do in private? This makes me think of accountability, which is something the cult really emphasized. Everyone had to live together and constantly be doing things together. I was at the college dorms when I first met the cult people, and they were always inviting me to things. At first it was friendly, but as time went on, they started controlling activities in my life so that every time I wasn't in class or at work, I was with them. They would always ask what I had scheduled for the day, and they'd make sure to passively aggressively let me know they were expecting me to be at all of their meetings. These meetings accomplished nothing other than more indoctrination and cult beliefs. At one point, I decided to live on a different dorm floor from the rest of the cult. A day or two after I'd done that, a group of about 15 cult members came, knocked on my door, and had a talk with me about my disobedience. They couldn't handle that I was making decisions separate from them. After that, they'd send one or two members to invite me to whatever dumbass activity they had planned for the night. The constant barrage of nosiness was exhausting. This was their tactic to make sure I was doing nothing except the activities they deemed appropriate. They were such a group of control freaks that they couldn't give their members any damn privacy. Constantly being around people 24/7 is suffocating. This is why people have homes to go to. And how can you talk like that about not wanting to be a part of the social body? The totalitarians in this society can't fathom someone not thinking the same way they do or wanting to be a part of their perfect society. I think this quote shows immense insecurity because they are obsessed with everyone having to do the same thing just so they don't feel alone. They have zero confidence in blazing their own trail or doing their own stuff. Individualism terrifies totalitarians. They can't control you the way they want if you think for yourself, and this fact drives them insane. Therefore, this is why your original thoughts are important. Your original thoughts are a totalitarian's kryptonite. When the individual feels, the community reels. This quote made me think of a time when I answered a comment on a post which claimed non-consensual sex didn't exist because apparently rape is rape. You know how leftists define words with the word itself, which is absolutely not how you define a word? All I did in my comment was define the word rape, and a leftist freaked out. It was amusing to me that people got their panties in a bunch over something completely innocuous like a word definition. However, the reason why they went crazy is not because of the word definition, but because I didn't go along with their hive mind, groupthink bullshit. I wasn't playing their game. I was an individual having my own feelings, and so the community reeled. Well, the director resumed at last, the next day there was a search, but we couldn't find her. She must have fallen into a gully somewhere or been eaten by a mountain lion. Ford knows. That's just their version of saying God knows or Lord knows. Anyhow, it was horrible. It upset me very much at the time. More than it ought to have done, I dare say. Because, after all, it's the sort of accident that might have happened to anyone. And of course, the social body persists, although the component cells may change. The director is describing a trip to New Mexico he took with a girl he was having at the moment, who disappeared while on the trip. This blatant disregard for human life with the language used in this quote is appalling. He says, "It upset me very much at the time, more than it ought to have done." Really? So he had a normal human reaction of being upset when his travel partner disappeared, the travel partner who he was banging at the time? And his reaction to this normal reaction of being upset is to criticize it as something bad. This is like how the cult would tell me emotions were bad. Whenever I got angry or sad or any other emotion besides the fake happiness they demanded, I was told that the reaction should be criticized because the cult wanted me to be a robot. Still preserve their repulsive habits and customs. Marriage, if you know what that is, my dear young lady. Families. No conditioning. Monstrous superstitions. Christianity and totemism and ancestor worship. Extinct languages such as Zuni and Spanish and Athapascan. Pumas, porcupines, and other ferocious animals. Infectious diseases. Priests. Venomous lizards. So this is the warden of New Mexico describing what the New Mexican environment is like. And the New Mexican environment in this society is called a reservation, and it's because that part of the country did not join civilization like the other place did. So they're basically living like a normal life where they have all the things that are still in society, but in the apparently civilized world in this book, they've gotten rid of all of that stuff. So the warden is talking about it like it's this like backwards kind of thinking. So that's what that means. So language is important, and this utter contempt the warden has towards New Mexico reminds me of the contempt the regime now has towards people it has deemed unworthy. The people who obey the regime might think they're liked, but they're not. The regime likes obedience, not the people who do it. President Poopy Pants' letter in Christmas 2021 displays this. A letter from the WhiteHouse.gov starts off with the words, "We are intent on not letting Omicron disrupt work and school for the vaccinated. You've done the right thing and we will get through this. For the unvaccinated, you're looking at a severe winter of illness and death for yourselves, your families, and the hospitals you may soon overwhelm." I'm going to read it again, but I'm going to replace the words vaccinated and unvaccinated with the words that I'm sure the White House actually meant to say. "We are intent on not letting Omicron disrupt work and school for the obedient. You've done the right thing and we will get through this. For the disobedient, you're looking at a winter of severe illness and death for yourselves, your families, and the hospitals you may soon overwhelm." He has contempt towards unvaccinated people because they didn't obey his order. He doesn't actually care about the vaccine or people's health. He doesn't actually care if you got vaccinated or not. What he cares about is whether you got the vaccine at the time that he told you to get it. The vaccine is just the thing he can use to issue a decree. Since he thinks it's unfathomable by his actions that someone would dare think he's not worthy of being followed blindly, he resorts to wishing ill will upon people who disobey him. He uses resentful language and tells people they're going to suffer because of their disobedience. He's insecure. He can't live with knowing he doesn't have full control. He is doing exactly what Bernard did in chapter 4, which is projecting the false superiority he thinks he has onto society while feeling a genuine sense of insecurity within himself. Well, that concludes my thoughts on Chapter 6 of Brave New World. And I will see you on the next video. So, have a great night.